Teenagers, I got something I want to ask you. The question I have for you today is, will you let him in? There's a verse in Revelations 3:20 where Jesus is saying, look, I stand at the door and I knock. So what happens when somebody is like knocking on your door, right? He says, if you hear my voice and open the door, then I will come in and we will share a meal together as friends. So I want you to know that Jesus wants to be your friend. He wants to fellowship with you. He wants to know what's going on in your life. He wants you to talk to him about your struggles, your issues. He wants to be your best friend. The door that he's talking about is your heart. And so there is a verse in Ephesians 3:17 where it talks about him making his home in your heart. So let's put that together, right? So he knocks on the door and he comes in and he decides, I want to live here. I want to clean up this place. I want this place to look like me. This is where I'm going to decide to make my home. So that's the first thing he does. He cleans it up. He cleans you up. There's a verse in Psalms 51 that says, create in me a clean heart and purify or renew a right spirit in me. So we're not able to create clean hearts within ourselves. Only the one who comes in, who longs to come in to make his home in our hearts, is the one who can create a clean heart in us and renew his spirit in us. So, for example, I have a 16-year-old son, and when I go in his room, no shade to teenagers, because I know y'all don't like to clean up all the time, but if it's messy, then I'm like, okay, clean this up, clean that up, clean that up. But Jesus, he'll knock on the door of your heart like somebody come knocking on the door of your room. And if you invite them in, instead of him telling you, okay, you need to fix this and you need to fix that and you need to fix that, which is a lot of times what people think that he is, he's not harsh like that. He says, you just sit here, you just receive me in here, and I'm going to clean this up. Watch me clean up this mess over here. I know you've been struggling with that. I know you're having a hard time to keep that clean, but let me clean that up for you. Let me vacuum. Let me make your bed. Like, he's delighted to do those things inside of you that you haven't been able or can't seem to figure out how to do within yourself. And we live in a world right now where it is so loud and so chaotic, and everybody else in your generation and all your peers, you're going through the same thing. And you don't necessarily have very many people to help you figure out how to deal with the cares of life. That's what the Bible calls it, the issues of life, the things that flow from your heart. Jesus says, I want to come in and make my home here. Let me clean those things up. So the second thing that happens is that his personality starts to be shown when we start to look like him, because our hearts become his home. So for example, your room, right? When you first moved into your house, whether you live in a house or apartment or whatever room you have, this was your space. And I can guarantee you that if you have brothers and sisters, their rooms look just like them, and your room looks just like you. So it's the same thing with Jesus. When he comes in your heart, he starts to make your vessel from the inside out look just like him, because now it's where he lives. It's not just you acting on your own will or your own emotions. He'll start to talk to you. He'll clean you up. He'll start to counsel you. And before you know it, you look like Jesus. And that is the goal. He knows that the only way that you can look like him is for him to live inside of you. And then you start to take on his personality. And my goodness, there are so many wonderful aspects of the personality of Jesus. So the third thing that happens when he comes and makes his home in your heart, you can keep reading in Ephesians 3:17. If you keep reading, it talks about his power that's at work within us. So I'm gonna give you an example. Have you ever seen like your mom or dad, right? Say you're chilling in your room or you're in the living room chilling on the couch. You are a recipient of this wonderful home that they've created. And so you might on a random Saturday see your mom, she's cleaning the kitchen, she's vacuuming, she's dusting, she's making this house spotless, spick and span. You might see your dad in the backyard mowing the grass and I know my dad used to tend to the flowers and all of those things. And so you are a recipient of a wonderful home that they have made for you, and you didn't have to do a thing but receive it. And so it's the same thing with Jesus. It's him coming in and you being a recipient of his person dwelling inside of you, cleaning you up. And the only thing that he is asking you to do is just let me in. So how crazy and wild is it that the king and creator of the universe wants to live inside your vessel? That is amazing. Do you hear him knocking? He will keep knocking and knocking and knocking because he is obsessed with you. He is wild for you. He loves you. And no matter how long it takes, he will keep knocking. The voice of the world is loud and it's chaotic. And if you turn it off long enough, if you cut off the YouTube long enough, if you cut off the video games, if you quiet down, you might spend hours talking to friends and this and that. We're so full of information. It's almost, we live in a generation now where it's almost awkward to have silence and to be with your own thoughts. And that's kind of the goal of the world. It's loud and it's chaotic. But the voice of Jesus is always going to be small. It's always going to be still. And it's always going to be quiet, but you will always be able to hear it because the spirit, your spirit that he created as a replication of his spirit was always meant to, your spirit craves his spirit. And so his voice in your spirit, even if your mind is not really understanding the draw that your spirit feels for something, that voice is always going to be recognizable. It's going to be small and it's going to be still, but it's going to be something that you recognize. So challenge, the next time that you hear him knocking, turn off the distractions, turn off all the other noise and just say, okay, Jesus, I hear you, and just invite him in.